Why is it so easy to quit on something? Why, whenever we start doing something, it's easy to stay motivated, but slowly, thoughts of giving up starts to come in our mind? How does people like David Goggins keep pushing their limits in spite of constant thoughts of quitting? Let's find out.
What you're exercising is not a circuit for bear crawls or a circuit for pull-ups. What you're doing is you're exercising a circuit for top-down control. And that circuit was not designed to be for bear crawls or pull-ups or coding or waking up in the middle of the night to do something hard. That circuit was designed to override limbic friction. And so neural circuits were designed to generalize, right? The stress response to an incoming threat, that's a physical threat, was designed to feel the same way and be the same response internally as the threat to an impending exam or divorce or marriage or whatever it is that's stressing somebody out. And so neural circuits are not designed to be for one particular action or purpose. So if you can, as you did, if you can train up top-down control under conditions of the highest limbic friction, that when the desire to quit is at its utmost, either because of fatigue or hyperarousal, being too stressed or too tired, you're learning how to engage a circuit, and that circuit is forever with you. And if you don't engage it, it sits there, but it's atrophied. It's like a plant that doesn't get any water. So there's a paper published in Cell, super top tier journal, 2 years ago, looking at effort. And this was in a visual environment of trying to swim forward toward a target and a reward. And it was a really cool experiment because they manipulated virtually the visual environment. So the same amount of effort was being expended every time, but sometimes the perception was you're making forward progress, and sometimes the perception was you're making no progress because stuff wasn't drifting by, meant no progress. So you could be swimming and swimming and you're not making progress. And it turns out that with each bout of effort, there's a epinephrine and norepinephrine is being released in the brainstem. And glia, these what traditionally were thought of as support cells for the neurons, but they do a lot of things actively too, are measuring the amount of epinephrine and norepinephrine in that circuit. And when it exceeds a certain threshold, the glia send inhibitory signals that shut down top-down control. They literally, it's the you quit, you stop. There's no more, it's you quit enduring. It can be rescued, endurance can be rescued with dopamine. So that's where the subjective part really comes into play. So you quit because you've learned how to turn that off, or you've learned how to, some people will reward the pain process so much that friction becomes the reward. And when you talk about people like Goggins and other people I know from special operations, and people who've gone through cancer treatments 3 times, you hear about, when you hear about people, the Viktor Frankl stories, you hear about Nelson Mandela, you hear about these stories, I'm sure the same process is involved. Again, this speaks to the generalizability of these processes as opposed to a neural circuit for a particular action or cognitive function. So I think you have to learn to subjectively self-reward in a way that replenishes you. Goggins talks about eating souls. It's a very dramatic example. In his mind, apparently, that's a form of reward, but it's not just a form of reward where it's like you're picking up a trophy or something. It's actually, it gives you energy. It's a reward that gives more neural energy, and I'm defining that as more dopamine to suppress the noradrenaline and adrenaline circuits in the brainstem.
If you found this video useful, make sure to like, share and subscribe. It really helps me to stay motivated. Until then, see you later.